Hello and welcome to another Studio Takes. I'm Dane Scott along with Pocket Frog,
Dane's right-hand amphibian.
We're leaping and hopping today, and today we're going to hop right into a very interesting subject. If you haven't had it happen to you yet, the odds are that you will, as a voiceover person at some time, be approached by someone that will say, here's a voiceover I'd like you to do, and here's a video I'd like you to sync it to. How does that work, and what's the easiest way to make it happen? I'll talk about a nice technique coming up right after this.
Studio Takes. Real help for the aspiring voiceover artist and Fiverr entrepreneur.
Just ahead of our subject today, one quick flying trip to the website, thegigdoctor.com, to show you this page. If you're just listening, I'll explain this page. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. But if you look at the top of it, at thegigdoctor.com, on the, what's the official name of it? The Gig Images page, you'll see something that will certainly grab your eye. Matter of fact, if you're just listening and you're able to get to a web browser, go check this out. It's thegigdoctor.com, and it shows you very quickly why the right kind of an image can make a huge, enormous difference in your success on Fiverr. Because if your gig image is a killer, if it really grabs people's eyeballs, that's what it's going to take in order to win business. On the page, along with the very eye-popping first image, then there are some samples. There are some good samples of some gig images that we've done for people. If you don't have a particularly good gig image, this is something that is definitely should be on your agenda. It doesn't cost that much to do, and you can contact me for more information at thegigdoctor.com. thegigdoctor.com. Be sure to let me know. There's an order button right near the bottom of the page, and we can get going on one for you. Now let's get on to it. And today, this is something that people will very likely, first of all, got to mention one more thing. You know, I'm kind of like a magician, you know, that's got all these like pockets all over inside of his suit, and I keep pulling stuff out. So I was basically reaching into another pocket here, and there was something else I needed to mention, and that was this, that we've just gone over 750 downloads of the podcast now. I never imagined that would happen as fast as it has. Now, granted, it would be great if we were getting 750 downloads of every podcast rather than 750 altogether since we started, but I think, you know, over time that's going to continue to rise, especially if you're kind enough to spread the word and let other people know about the podcast and the YouTube feed, the YouTube channel. So whichever way people prefer to go, they can follow along with the action. At any rate, I'm very happy to see that we're up to 750, and I'll give you another update when we hit 1,000. Okay, let's get down to it now. And this was the order that I got today, and it included a script and then also this video. And here's what the video's like. We're first seeing a skyline and a logo, some music.
Malaysian Rating Corporation Berhad, or MARC, was established in 1996 and is a licensed credit rating agency with Securities Commission Malaysia.
Okay, so what we're hearing there is a scratch track, they call it. Basically, all it is the audio has been converted to speech and then laid in, timed to the video the way they want it to be. And along with that, on the screen are subtitles then, which correspond to it. So whether they had just the scratch track of audio or they just had the subtitles, in either case, it would be an adequate cue to let us know where to drop stuff in. If all they had were the subtitles, then what I would most likely do is to, once I've got the audio recorded, I would drop it into a video editor. Then I'd cut the audio apart and slide it around to get it to match up. In this case, we can make that even easier for ourselves because we do not really need the video editor at all. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm on the Mac and it's in QuickTime. So I'm just going to hit File, Export, and then I'm going to choose Export as Audio, and I'm going to save it to a file. And hit Save, and it will export it as audio. It only takes a split second. And then what we end up with is this. And we'll bring this up. This, for the sake of those who are listening, is a stereo audio file that is the same thing, just the audio.
Malaysian Rating Corporation Berhad, or MARC, was established in 1996 and is a licensed credit rating agency with Securities Commission Malaysia.
Okay, so there it is. That is the audio file once again. This time we're seeing it just as a wave file, like a waveform audio file inside of my wave editor. I also have taken the liberty already of recording my script. So I've got that already here, and that's in a separate audio file, which I'm opening up in a window along with it. What I'm going to do is to just combine these two files together on separate tracks, and then after that, it'll be a very simple matter to just move the audio around to get it to line up. What I do is, first of all, I just give a quick listen to the script, and I get a feeling of the pacing that the scratch track is at. Like, how long is it going to take me to, how fast or slow do I need to go in order to be roughly in the right spot? Then whatever it is that I think I need, I go just a little bit faster than that when I do the narration. Therefore, my segments should be just slightly shorter than theirs. By doing it that way, almost without exception, when I drop it in along with the audio from the video, everything matches up well, or is very easily lined up, because mine is, if anything, going to be a little shorter. If it runs longer, then you run into problems. But as long as it's the same or shorter, we're good. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, on the original audio, it's right now a stereo track, and I have absolutely no need for that. And as a matter of fact, we'll be even getting rid of that track altogether when I'm done. So I have in Twisted Wave, my audio editor, set it so that when I do Control-M, it just switches it over to a mono file. So that makes it nice and easy. And I'm also going to select the whole thing, and I've got a hotkey that can reduce it by 1 dB at a time, and I'm going to tap that a few times just to make it a little bit lower volume, so mine will be louder than theirs. The next thing I'll do, since Twisted Wave has this option, is add a channel. So now we have 2 channels here, and I have a place to drop in my audio. I'll go back to my original audio file, copy and bring it over, and I'll click in the brand new channel that I just created and go paste, and that drops it in. And for those who are watching, you can see now that the amount of audio that I have is shorter than the amount of audio they have by a significant amount, almost half. The reason is because in addition to the voiceover in their original script, their original video, they also have some clips, interview clips, which we will be interspersing ourselves with. So now the first thing I'm going to do, first of all, I'll close my original. So I'm just working with this one file, and I'm going to make it nice and big to make it easy for everybody to look at. And I'm going to put my marker down to the end and zoom in a little bit. So I can see that right about here, I can click in one channel or the other and just listen to that channel, or I can listen to both at the same time by clicking in the middle, depending on how I do it. I'm going to click on just this channel and listen.
Malaysian Rating Corporation Berhad, or MARC, was established in 1990.
Okay, so we can see that right there is really the beginning of that one. And here's the beginning of mine. Malaysian Rating Corporation, Berhad, or MARC. Okay, so I'm going to just, again, in my editor, a nice feature is the ability to insert silence. And I'll just hold down Shift and hit S. And right now I have it set to 20. I'll make it about 10 seconds. And that inserts more silence than I need. And then all I have to do is just edit out the silence I don't need. So I'm just going to pull it back like this to select it and delete. And then it looks like I need to take a little bit more out. Malaysian Rating Corporation, Berhad, or MARC, was established in 1996 and is a licensed credit rating agency with Securities Commission Malaysia. See, that is not syllable for syllable, but it's all going to be within the same scene, and it's going to work just fine. The main thing is we want to hit our marks at the beginning of each next segment. So that's where we're going to need to pull mine in a little bit to match. So I can see that right now, as I look at the next part, where the next part of speech from the computer voice comes in, it's going to be, maybe quarter second farther or sooner than what I have on mine. So I just cut that much out so it'll line back up again, and then I hit play on both. MARC is also a Bank Negara accredited external credit assessment institution. MARC also okay.
MARC has remained steadfast.
Here's where the first interview clip comes.
Assessment institution.
Over the years, MARC has remained steadfast in our commitment to excellence.
Okay, so there we have to move ahead because there's nothing for us to line up to until we get back to the computer voice later on. So I'm going to again hit the, in my case it's shift space, but you can assign it whatever key you want. I'll put in like 20 seconds of silence. And then when I zoom back out, I can kind of eyeball it and see where the computer voice is probably going to come back in. I'm going to say it's probably right here after this whoosh.
Mark also.
Yeah, so there it is. Now I'll zoom in again. I'll click and drag just to bring this voiceover part of mine back to match because mine was pressed a little too far into the future. I'll hit play. Mark also publishes independent research on the domestic bond and sukuk markets, industry trends, and economic issues. Mark has always... Okay, and then I need to insert a little space because mine comes in too soon, sooner than the original computer voice, so I'm going to hit... Actually, in this case, I'm just going to insert some space by hitting record and then record again to stop. Well, I cheated a little bit. Some minutes have gone by because I didn't want you to have to sit through all of that. It actually didn't take that long to finish up. And the end result is, as our YouTube viewers are seeing it here, where there are splotches of finished audio followed by some gaps. The broad gaps that are shown are the places where interview clips go in between. And the timing is down to very, very, very fine timing. It didn't take anything at all to make it all line up very well and match well with the audio that was supplied originally. So it was a simple project. And the fact that you can charge a decent amount, I charge about $15 additional per finished minute to do this kind of thing. And so that was an extra $45 that I was able to tack onto my Fiverr order to do this. And as I said, it does not take that very long at all. If I spent 10 minutes on it, it was probably a lot. And, 10 minutes out of an hour, that means that, 6 times 4, potentially you could have $240 an hour or more doing syncing at that speed. So it's not a big deal to get this done, and once you kind of get comfortable with it and have done it a little bit, you'll find that you can kind of fly through it. So if you're not currently offering syncing service, think about it a little bit. Maybe it's something that you could add to your repertoire and earn a little extra money on Fiverr. And I'd appreciate it if you would sync up with us on all of these by subscribing to the YouTube channel, Studio Takes YouTube channel. And if you're not subscribed to the podcast, please do that, because then you can listen wherever you are. And we'll do this again real soon. Thanks for watching and listening. I'm Dane Scott.
You give me a call.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, I think.
Hello, cutie pie.
Until I heard the voice, I'd never done a crazy thing in my whole life.
Goodbye.